Good evening, friends, and welcome to another late night edition of Crime Time with DutyRon. Guys and girls, you know the drill. I'm a retired New York City police detective, and if you like all things true crime related from the police detective's perspective, hit the subscribe button, hit that notification bell so you'll get all things DutyRon and Ed Wallace when we go live or upload another video. Hey, tonight I wanted to come live quickly to tell you about 12 hours ago, Ethan Chapin, one of the four murder victims, his mom, one of the family members, his mom, came out on NBC and gave an interview, and she had a lot to say. So I wanted to talk to you guys quickly about it because I got that many people sending me messages inquiring about this. But before I get into it, I want to say a special thank you to you, the Patreon supporters, the channel members, and all the folks who positively engage in this community. You guys are what makes it a great place, and I give thanks and praise to each and every one of you. Now, as you guys know, I also over the weekend had a little skin cancer removed on my back. Not a big deal. I've been through it 4 times in the past. This is my 5th time around with skin cancer, but the sun is not your friend. Stay out of the sun if at all possible. Protect yourself. Skin cancer can happen to anybody and it can happen anywhere. It's on my back, on my nose, on my head. But don't worry, I'm going to be okay, folks. But thank you to everyone who's inquired and sent me messages and asked how I was doing. I really, really appreciate each and every one of you guys for being here and for sending your well wishes. It's greatly appreciated. So I want to jump right into this thing because Ethan Chapin's mom, Stacy, his father, Jim, very strong people because they have spoken few times, just a few times to the media. They haven't been on interviews with a lot of news stations, but they were on early in this case, and maybe another 1 or 2 times. They really haven't been vocal about the ongoings of the investigation and so forth. But she made a statement yesterday. It was about 12 hours ago, and she said that her family would not be attending the trial. She said she wants to focus on the foundation that was formed for Ethan, and also that the uh, results of going to the trial and going through seeing she didn't say this, but seeing crime scene photos and hearing about the horrific crimes is not going to change the outcome. And that was her words. And I kind of respect that because being a retired detective, I've seen and testified at so many different horrific trials and horrific cases where you see and you're now re-victimized because you have to see all of the crime scene photos, you have to hear about the gory details of what's gone on. So I kind of respect her opinion, feelings on that. But again, these feelings are also something that's subject to change. She may change her mind. Her family might change their mind when it gets closer to trial date. It's tentatively set for October 2nd. And, for me, I just respect victims' families and their wishes and what they, want and don't want to do. And I think that's all we have to do. So let me just say hello to Wilesy Pony, my good friend. Good to see you. Hello, Monica, Dawn Marie, Melissa, Run the World, Schmitty's here, Lexi, Miss Donna Marie, Black Rose 11, my neighbor and good friend across the street, Diane. I know she's fighting some kind of eye issue with the sty in her eye. Hopefully that clears up soon. Princess Mitch, I hope your back is feeling better. Richella, I didn't realize that you had some issues with your back. I hope you're feeling better. But let's jump right into this thing. Let's take a listen. But before we listen to Ethan Chapin's mom, Stacy, by a show of hands here in the chat, how many of you have heard this interview or seen this interview? If you've seen it and heard it, press a 1. If you haven't seen or heard it, just press a 2 so I know what we're working with here, if any of you haven't seen it. Jennifer Nobles, great to see you, my great friend from Bakersfield, California. It's a pleasure to have you here. I appreciate you being here in the chat and supporting this great community. So some number twos, some number ones. It looks like it's a mixed audience here. So some of you is going to be first time seeing this. So we're going to watch it, and we'll talk a little bit about it. And I want to know how you guys feel about this. Should the victims' families should the victims have their families there to represent them because they no longer have a voice? So just curious to see and have this open dialogue with you guys. So let's take a listen. And this is from 12 hours ago.
As the families of the 4 University of Idaho students who were killed last fall cope with this unimaginable grief, they are also finding touching ways to remember and honor their loved ones. In a moment, we're going to talk to Ethan Chapin's mom, Stacy. But first, a closer look at the case and their tributes. More than 6 months have passed since the murders at King Road, when Ethan Chapin, his girlfriend Xana Kernodle, and best friends Madison Mogan and Kaylee Gonsalves were found stabbed to death in this house near the University of Idaho campus. A tense manhunt and weeks of painful waiting for the victims' families followed before police arrested their suspect in late December. Bryan Kohberger was pursuing his PhD in criminal justice at Washington State University, just miles from the scene of the murders. Investigators say DNA evidence, cell phone records, and video surveillance link him to the scene that night. Kohberger's trial is set for October, the judge entering a plea of not guilty for the 4 murders after Kohberger declined to enter one himself. Ethan Chapin's family has watched from afar while holding close their memories of a beloved son and brother.
He loved everybody and everybody loved him. Everybody wanted to be around him.
Ethan's parents, Stacy and Jim Chapin, are honoring him through a foundation named Ethan's Smile. It gives scholarships to local students to attend the University of Idaho.
That kid has touched more lives. We say in our family, if we touch as many lives as he did in his 20 years, this world would be a better place.
Ethan was a triplet. His 2 siblings still attend the university. This May, graduation ceremonies were bittersweet as the school awarded Ethan a posthumous certificate. And now, Stacy Chapin has written a children's book about Ethan called The Boy Who Wore Blue. A portion of the profits will also go to the foundation, Ethan's Smile. Okay. And Stacy Chapin joins us now. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
It's hard to watch those images of your beloved boy. How are you doing?
It's hard.
Yeah, it is.
It's good, though. I mean, all things considered, we're doing very well.
Yeah. He was a triplet. He has a brother and sister. How are they doing?
Jim and I couldn't be more proud of them, to be honest with you. They went back to school. They finished successfully this semester. And now they're back at work in a place that they love. And we've called summer home for a long time. So they're in a safe, great environment. And they're doing amazing. I'm so proud of them. It's amazing.
I think people are about to find out what an extraordinary family you have, Stacy, and what an extraordinary boy Ethan was. You've written this book. It's called The Boy Who Wore Blue. Yes. Tell me about writing it and what made you decide to write this story?
It started with my best friend sent me a news release that was that an author had been given the rights to the story to tell of these kids. And I, as a mom, you're like, well, how does somebody write a story about people that they don't know, right? Right, about my kid. Yeah, I'm the one who's raised him, Jim and I. And it just sparked something in me. And the only thing I can explain to people how the book came about is I think it's like a country artist who goes through a breakup and writes their greatest hit. It literally just came to me in the middle of the night.
It's Ethan's song.
It's everything. Yeah, it's the best I can do for him.
I love The Boy Who Wore Blue. You had triplets, and you learn in the book that when they were little, they used to each wear a color.
They did.
And that's how you told them apart when they were babies. And he was the one who wore blue.
He was the blue.
He was a very special young man. Everybody says it. Tell me about him.
Yeah. He was that way from the very beginning, to be honest. He was born happy. he was just magnanimous, kind of. I don't know really how to explain it. What we find more interesting is how many lives he touched that we didn't even know existed. It's incredible. I mean, I tell people if I touch as many lives in my lifetime as he did in 20 years, he just swarmed to every room. He had a wonderful smile.
You hear in those stories now, people are calling you and saying, I remember when Ethan did this or that.
Yes, or strangers.
Yeah.
The strangers have been amazing who have come up to us, and it always started the same way. You know, you don't know me, but I have this story to tell you. Yeah.
What does that do for you? Is it comforting? Is it hard to kind of share your grief with this high profile story and it's so public?
We learned our family has always tried to help everybody. And we came upon the Sigma Chi boys the morning after. And in that moment, we realized that not only, that it wasn't just, our family healed one way, but everybody needed to heal from this. And we saw it in an instant, kind of seeing all of his friends. And it's just gone from there. It's literally, we've been reached by people across the world. And it just, we can see that everybody needs to heal from it, and it feels good.
You have extraordinary strength.
Yeah.
You and your husband seem to have this resolve. You say, if people want to talk to you about it, it's okay to talk about.
Yes.
It's not the elephant in the room.
Yes.
You want to talk about Ethan.
Yes.
Where does that come from, that strength, when you're dealing with the unimaginable?
We just decided that, it has its moments, of course, right? But we get up every morning and we just decided that the best thing we can do is put our best foot forward, mostly for Maisie and Hunter. They deserve it. They didn't deserve this. And so they deserve still the best life that we can give them. And that is really our strength. It drives us. We literally get up and, have coffee and then say, all right, we're going to go forward.
I was so struck by something you wrote. It was on social media earlier this year. You said, we spend no time being angry. That would be energy not well spent.
Yep.
And it still wouldn't change the outcome.
Yep.
We have to look ahead.
Yes.
That's your philosophy.
Yes.
That's a powerful message. When I first heard this, I actually had to listen to it twice. But very powerful message. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section and also in the live chat. What a strong woman, and her children, the surviving two triplets, Maisie and Hunter, to continue on and go to college and complete after having this happen is a sign of strength like no other. Let me know what your thoughts are.
It doesn't change the outcome. Even looking ahead at the trial coming up in October now, we choose to not, it does not change the outcome of our family, and it's energy that we need to put into healing our kids and, getting back to a new family dynamic and working on that. And so we let the prosecutors do their job, and we do our job in our family.
Do you think you'll come to the trial?
I love what she just said. We let the prosecutors do our job, and we do our job for our families. I love this woman's message and her strength, and her husband and this entire family. Just amazing. Just an amazing sign and show of strength.
And working on that. And so we let the prosecutors do their job, and we do our job in our family.
Do you think you'll come to the trial or attend it?
Nope.
Yeah.
She said no right away.
It doesn't change the outcome. Yeah. It just is energy that doesn't feel like it's well spent. Yeah. There's other places to put it. So.
Ethan, as we said, was such an extraordinary young man, one of those light up the room type of people.
Yep.
What would you want the world to know about him? Now they know his name. What do you want them to know about him?
Honestly, I think the world sees it in the photos. He's become this just, look at him. We're looking at his pictures. He was just the greatest kid. Everybody loved him. He was warm. He was inclusive. He was the kid you wanted to hang out with, you know, anywhere he was. He would play any sport. He'd play any cribbage game. I mean, he just was always game to participate in anything with a big smile and a warm heart. He was kind.
Well,
Yeah.
we can see where he gets a lot of
Truly.
those attributes from your family, the wonderful, supportive family. And I just have to show people you have the most beautiful new tattoo on your arm. Can we show it? It's his handwriting. I love you, Mom, Ethan.
So that's a card that he wrote to his mother, Ethan, and that's his handwriting. I love you, Mom, Ethan. Amazing. I just wanted to stop it there so we could all see it. Right on the inside of her left forearm.
It's beautiful.
It's from McCarty.
From McCarty.
Game. I mean, he just was always game to participate in anything with a big smile and a warm heart. He was kind.
Well,
Yeah.
we can see where he gets a lot of
Truly.
those attributes from your family, the wonderful, supportive family. And I just have to show people you have the most beautiful new tattoo on your arm. Can we show it? It's his handwriting. I love you, Mom, Ethan. It's beautiful.
It's from McCarty.
From McCarty gave you. Yeah. Stacy, thank you so much. Highly encourage people to hear Ethan's story, The Boy Who Wore Blue.
Yep.
As his mother tells it.
Yep.
Stacy,
Thank you
so much.
Amazing.
You can find out more about the book and other ways that Stacy and Jim, her husband, are honoring Ethan's memory. It's on our website today.com.
I was moved by that. What a family, what strength, what humility. They are just, and I see some of the chat, some of the people in the chat are saying, I don't know if I could be this calm and this, they almost seem like the outcome of what happens in this trial or the details of what's going to come out in this trial are insignificant to them because their son is gone and nothing will bring him back. So I tip my cap to the Chapin family. The book is The Boy Who Wore Blue, and I'm going to link that in the description. You just got to give me about 5 minutes to capture the link and then put it in the description here. I have an earlier interview of both Stacy and her husband Jim, and this was just days after November 13th. This is a raw interview that they did just days after their son was murdered. And I want to do this comparison because they're no different from 2 days, 3 days after this heinous crime was committed and perpetrated against their son and 3 other innocent victims, including Ethan's girlfriend. But I want to just take a listen to this, so you guys can get a little bit of a baseline of how the Chapin family conducts themselves and has presented. And she's again spoke 2 or 3 other times that I personally have seen in the media, and it's all been the same thing. So I'm gonna just put this up again. This is from early on. But you get a good idea of what they're about early on.
Was Ethan Chapin. His parents say they're devastated and they're still trying to process what happened.
As Connor Board from our sister station King 5 in Seattle reports, they're remembering Ethan as someone who had a love for life and a love for others.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
A call talking about your son who is now gone is not as hard as the call Stacy and Jim Chapin received earlier this week.
We're just trying to process it. It's not a call that you think that you're going to have to speak with the funeral home directors and the FBI and have it hit national news.
They received the call their son Ethan Chapin had been killed. They got the call from their other kids. Ethan was a triplet, all so close they even went to college together.
We have these other 2 kids that are very impacted by this, and they need to be lifted up and cared for.
They say Ethan was the comedian of the family and was a lover of country music and sports. What did Ethan like to do?
Anything.
He played
You name
anything.
it, he played it, literally. I think we just watched a thing from the university, spike ball champion, volleyball champion. I mean, he just literally would play and do anything.
They say this investigation and attention has been overwhelming, and they wanted to clarify what they say is misinformation floating around.
The things that are being said are 100% not true. There's not drugs involved. There's not some weird love triangle. Ethan stayed the night at his girlfriend's house, who was one of 5 girls who lived in the home.
They say his girlfriend, Xana Chernobyl, was one of the other victims and that they were in the same room in the house. Ethan's parents say they just saw him last weekend at the University of Idaho's Parents' Weekend and felt so proud and at ease.
As we pulled out of Moscow, we literally were like, we've done it. We've literally done it as parents. We've created 3 incredible humans that will go on.
But now the future looks much different, and Ethan's future gone. Their focus is now on supporting Ethan's 2 other siblings and keeping Ethan's.
They're devastated.
So there you have it. Just a parent's worst nightmare. And I wouldn't wish this, obviously, on my worst enemy. You don't wish this on anybody. So I wanted to get your take and get your thoughts and feelings on this. She stated in the NBC interview 12 hours ago that her family would not be attending the trial, period. When asked, she actually cut off the reporter. She cut her off and said no. As soon as she started asking that question, she said no. I mean, I don't know if any of you caught on to that. I want to just say hello to Kristen. Yay, let's unpack that. Sending prayers to her husband, Chris, who's recovering from surgery. He's battling cancer. I know that she's in the chat and she's been chiming along with us, but if everybody could put some prayer emojis and some hearts in the chat for Chris. Blue hearts for Ethan, obviously blue hearts for Chris. He is true blue, and we hope and pray that he's going to make it home sooner than later. So a lot of love to you, Chris, and Kristen and Chris, and sending nothing but love for you and your family, and we're here for you 24/7. If there's anything that anybody can ever do for you from the Crime Time with DutyRon community and family, we're here for you. Again, I want to just go to the chat because there's so many people here. LMS83, Team Brittany, thank you for being here, Team Brittany. Sue Mac, Susie Mac, Teresa B, Anna, Cheesy63, Mary, Maggie, Trina Kirk, thank you, Vicky V. There's just so many of you guys on the air here with us tonight. Jeff, good to see you. Jeff F, Lieutenant Pete Pranzo, thank you, you and Richella, for calling and texting me. I appreciate that so very much. Again, this is unscheduled. I wanted to just do this and have a conversation with you guys. I haven't been on the air speaking with you guys a lot lately. There's just been a lot of health things and family stuff going on with me. I'm trying my best to do some content for you going forward in the upcoming days. I'll be on with Ed hopefully soon. Again, we owe you guys a Forensic Friday. Miss Renee, thank you. Sends in a $10 super chat and says, "You're an amazing person, DutyRon. Sending out hugs to the Chapin family and everyone here. You all are amazing, if that's okay to say." Hey, that is fine. And I just repeated it. So thank you. Thank you, Miss Renee M. Okay, so there's the link for the book. I'm going to star that. I'm going to highlight that. Hopefully it stays highlighted. Let me just find that. Hold on a second, guys. There it is. Where is it? All right. Richella Pranzo just put the book in the chat. I tried to star it, but it's not letting me. Hold on. Let me see if I can pin that. Okay, good. All right. I just pinned the message. It's in blue in the chat. If you want to buy Ethan Chapin's mom, Stacy, wrote a book, And the book is titled The Boy Who Wore Blue, and it's based on her son, Ethan Chapin, who was one of the 4 victims at the 1122 King Road, Moscow, Idaho murder scene. So just an overwhelming amount of love and support for all of the victims' families. And it goes for, Ethan, Zana, Madison, and Kaylee. Their families are going through it. No 2 families will process the same way. But I just want to go back to the trial. All right. So we have June 9th, the gag order hearing. We don't know if there'll be a decision made on June 9th as far as the gag order goes. But the trial is set for October 2nd, tentatively, October 2nd, 2023. Do I think it's going to go off October 2nd? I don't think so. Sharon, thank you. Take care of you and family first. I appreciate that. Miss Renee, thank you for becoming a YouTube member. I greatly appreciate you. Me and Ed Wallace and the community here, we appreciate that. But I don't feel that October 7th is a hard date for the trial to commence. But I do think it's a starting point, and we might be surprised, and they might kick it off on October 2nd. But here's the thing: if you are going to be present in that courtroom, be prepared to hear and see and view graphic, gory crime scene photos. It's not going to be anything that anybody would want to have to see, even if you weren't put aside a family member. This is going to be something very difficult for any person to see. Trust me on that one. It was a gruesome crime scene, and those photos and videos are all going to be shown and played during the course of this trial. Schmitty sends in a $5 super chat and says, such role models. Really, I take a lot of her energy. She has definitive faith. She is forward looking and decisive. You got to respect it. It's powerful. Yeah, I agree wholeheartedly. Again, this is something that you wouldn't want put onto you in your worst case scenario, in the worst nightmare. And these families are living this worst nightmare. But the crime scene photos are going to be brutal. The details, the testimony from crime scene evidence collection technicians, from the medical examiner's office, from the pathologist who performed the autopsies on these 4 victims. This is not going to be something. And I respect the decision by the Chapin family to say, you know what, we don't want to be re-victimized again and go through this. So it is what it is. And again, we stand with victims' families and we support them. I can run down the whole list of people who we and cases that we've covered, and we've supported numerous families of victims behind the scenes, on the air, and everything in between. So it is a difficult situation. I want to ask you guys, if you're not yet subscribed, consider subscribing to Ed Wallace and myself, Crime Time with DutyRon. We are 2 retired detectives. We're human beings. Do we make mistakes? Yes, we make mistakes. But when we make mistakes, we always try to correct them. We do our best to do follow-ups and do corrections. So yes, we're human beings. We're not machines. We're not robots. We do get some things wrong that we speak on. That is part of this live streaming. This is what happens when you go live. And sometimes things, things get mixed up, and it happens. It's just part of human nature. So please understand that, folks. We're not robots. We're just normal human beings. And we're retired from the job, and we're giving you our perspective, our vision of what we've seen during the course of our 20 plus years in the New York City Police Department and in the investigative fields. And if that's the kind of stuff that you want to hear, or that's what you want to hear from us fellas and guys and girls. And, we bring, folks like Melanie Little, who's a, retired trial attorney. She did a lot of civil work, civil cases and so forth. Joe Murray, we have our forensic team with Barbara Butcher. Her book is coming out on the 27th of this month. Coincidentally, we're going to have Barbara on with us again to not only promote her book, but we're going to get to see her, I believe, on the 22nd. Bill Cannon, myself, hopefully Ed Wallace. We're going to go to her book launch and book signing. We're going to hang out with Barbara Butcher and break some bread and have some conversation. It's going to be great. I don't know if cameras will be allowed to be in there, but if they are, we'll take some footage and we'll upload it for you guys. But Barbara's going to be on with us, and she's going to be hanging out with us to talk about her book and to talk about some of the cases. So again, I want to just say thank you to the replay viewers. Thank you for the moderators. Thank you for the new members, the subscribers, the folks who leave questions and comments down below. Let us know what you think about Ethan Chapin's parents speaking out on NBC about 12 hours or so ago. Let me know in the comments what your thoughts are on that. Again, I appreciate everybody for being here and hanging out. I wanted to do a little Q&A and throw out the link, but it's getting late and I'm kind of tired. And I got this big hole in my back. The skin cancer surgeon took a big hole. It's probably like around this size. It's like a silver dollar, kind of maybe a little bit bigger than a silver dollar, missing from my back. So it's an open wound. I got my built-in nurse, Mrs. DutyRon, is doing the dressing for me twice a day, once in the morning, once at night. And she's taking good care of me. So I'm in good hands. Thank God for my wife, my beautiful wife. She's doing the nursing duties here at home, and all of the love coming from you guys. I appreciate it. Thank you so much for being a part of this channel, for being a part of the good. We're here for truth and justice, and to give you the behind the scenes look from the police perspective. Police detective's perspective. So I thank you all for being here. Magical Mary, Marzi 1, Jilly D, thank you, Heather, whatever. There's so many people that are in this chat that I can't get to because it would take me an hour to just read off the names. So thank you, Janine. Thank you, Chris. Appreciate the love and the support. ATS News, always in the chat. Thank you. I love you guys, and I thank you. On behalf of Crime Time with DutyRon and the community, I want to wish you guys a good night, and we will talk soon. Peace and love from DutyRon. Stand by for a message from the cop team. That's Kara, Oscar, and Popeye. I'll see you guys soon. Good night. Be well, and I'll talk soon.